This is what I get for not charging my mic. So, as promised, for the maybe 5th time I'm recording this, and it's on me for not charging my mic. I've got an extra one, thank goodness. So, I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet. I'm going to do a part 2 just to make it easier on you guys so you can have a little bit more of a discussion. Heck, I'm probably going to do that after I do a couple other videos, but just make sure to see you guys like it at first. So, today we're going to talk about Nami, and I am going to keep it a little segmented, and I'm going to talk about my favorite version of it, and it's the live action version of Nami. And I want to explain something. We would not have this version of Nami without the anime. No doubt. Heck, the actress would completely agree. Completely. Now, mind you, when I say this, I prefer her because there are elements of the character that I enjoy a little bit more than I enjoy the anime. I'm going to say this one. One aspect that I actually really enjoy is the resourcefulness is kind of played up more. Like, okay, she knows how to get around. She knows how to actually get where she needs to be, which anime Nami does that, but it doesn't really play up to anything. But in the show, her resourcefulness, it's there. It's helpful. It actually gets the plot kind of moving. But it also gets the plot moving in her direction because she works with Arlong. And we're seeing elements of that throughout the show where she's secretly communicating with Arlong through a radio or whatever it's called in One Piece. I'm sorry, I don't know what the particular term would be called. But one of the other aspects that I completely enjoy, and I kind of like the fact that they do this, it's how they balance out her being seductive to where it's like, okay, she's only doing this just to get what she needs. For example, the older Marine in the first episode, she kind of talks to him like, hey, you know, like a regular guy, a girl would be talking to a regular guy about. You know, asks her, hey, what's your favorite drink? And tries to make small talk with him. Tries to make, you know, something kind of work out here. And we kind of cut out, and then we go back to Luffy and Kobe witness Zoro talking to Alnapo. And I'm kind of glad they made him actually a more arrogant jerk in this instead of some pathetic whelp. Because it's like, it's kind of going to make more sense that he gets that glow up later on. Spoiler alert, by the way, if you don't know what I mean. So, then eventually, she uses the fight, get what she needs, gets the uniform, sneaks in, quickly, carefully, gets into the building, but yet still gets interrupted. Her flow kind of gets interrupted by Luffy, which is absolutely funny. And Yaki, you are the best, bro. I wish, honestly, I could meet you in real life because you seem like a pretty decent guy. Genuinely. And their interaction throughout that whole time where she's just sitting there being annoyed, like, okay, I gotta get moving, and this idiot is bothering me. And so, soon as Captain Morgan comes up, she's like, quickly uses him as an excuse, like, oh, I found this guy out here, he's a prisoner, kind of quickly makes up with something and tells him his name, tells her her name to kind of just make sure to go, all right, I'm gonna go walk down here and make sure to let him know, like, hey, I'm actually part of the Marines, and trick him into thinking that. And so after having that conversation with Morgan, and Captain Morgan passes him, goes to their office, still has this little bickering, she has this like little bickering banter between him and Luffy's just, you can't really tell if he's taking anything seriously. And of course, when they find the safe, and Luffy pulls the safe out of there, and she's trying to figure out how to actually open the thing up, pulls the safe out of there. They both fly out of the window, lands on the ground, and like everything just goes to kaput. It falls apart, and she's like, okay, whatever, and realizes it's like, okay, this my plan just fell apart. Now I gotta go figure out what to do next. And takes off the jacket, just has her shirt and the pants that she was wearing, and then of course her staff. She pulls out to fight the Marines alongside Zoro and Luffy. And another aspect that I'm going to talk about is the combat, the way she fights. It's interesting because it's like, what's also interesting is a lot more emphasis on combat training is in this, especially for Kaz Skylar, best version of Sanji. Do not argue with me. He is not only the best version of Sanji, martial artist wise, cook wise, character wise. I don't give a flying crap how you feel about anime Sanji. We wouldn't have live action Sanji without anime Sanji. I agree, but this is a better version so far. And I hope we keep it like this. But I will get to him in a moment, their interactions with Nami. But her fighting style, it makes sense. She uses a bow staff, and then of course the actress herself has had a history in karate and she knows how to use a bow staff. And just seeing her, the way her fight, she's not like kicking everybody's butt, but she can handle herself. And then on top of, you got Luffy, you got Zoro doing their thing. Luffy just bouncing everybody around with his rubber arms, using the gum pistol or gum whip, and then they're fighting a big giant man with an axe hand later on in the fight. And one of the things that I also enjoy about the live action is the fact that they had this quick little team up move that they did together as Zoro and Luffy, which was really neat. I like that a lot, with the gum whip and him getting him to fall, and Zoro, I forgot what Zoro did, but got him to fall down on the ground. It's really interesting. And then just the scene after where Zoro picks up the safe. I don't know how actually heavy that safe is as a prop, but props to McKinney. And I'm not just going to sit here and praise them all day, but like these guys are awesome, by the way. These guys are really cool. They seem like really genuinely fun people to be around. And I know a lot of the time Hollywood celebrities, they always portray that, but these people seem actually genuine and seem like people you want to actually meet. Particularly for me, I would. All of them, including Jacob, bro, like all of them. Anyway, enough of me fanning about. And going back to fanning about the characters being played. Anyway, so it's really interesting where more and more aspects of negatives of Nami in the anime are kind of being covered here, but also the fact of that her greed's not being played up a lot, which I prefer, to be honest. And I know a lot of people are like, well, greed's a part of her character. Yes, I get it, but greed can also be played to a degree where it's not comedic. I don't really like the comedic angle of her greed. I feel like greed should be a negative thing. It really should be. And it's kind of played that up in the thing. It's more like an annoying distraction, but when in fact it should be a detriment to somebody. And to a degree, yes, that's what happens to Nami, because she spent so much time gathering all this money for her village. It sacrificed a part of her life. And that's what exactly happens in the live action too, because her entire village thinks she's a villain. She's hated. And the way that they display it, I hate the fact that they don't have that detail of her, the village knowing like, hey, she got the money for them to be free. until they found out near the end. And it's like, I don't like that. I like how the anime did it, where it's like, okay, we already know. We already know you mean well. We already know you were trying to get us free from Arlong. And so, however, the way that Emily plays Nami, it's not only a big sister, it is a big sister who has a big heart for people that she learns to like. And particularly the moments with Zoro where she's just like, hey, you could die here. Why are you doing this? You could legitimately die here because of this legendary swordsman is known for killing people just like that. Why are you going out and doing this? And another thing that I appreciate is that they kept with Zoro in the story is like, he's so focused on that dream. He's so focused on being the greatest swordsman and beating Mihawk. All he hears is doubt, when in fact it's more like, look, idiot, because I care about you. And Zoro takes it like, well, you don't believe in me. I thought you didn't have any friends. And the fact that we got a scene where we have an interaction like that between those two characters, freaking finally. I'm tired of seeing just them, of Nami just hitting on Zoro. It's more like an actual friendship there. Genuinely. And the fact that she gets her feelings hurt after that, and still showed up for him even after losing to Mihawk, is an amazing thing that I don't know how she did this. I don't know. Wow. It just surprised me so much. A lot of what Emily Rudd does with this character is absolutely amazing. And it is a love letter to the character to a degree, but with added details that make it feel like a real person. Not that Nami in the anime doesn't feel like a real person. I just feel like it is a fantasized version a little bit more. How can I explain this? It feels like more like, it feels like a 17-year-old's version of what an actual girl who has been out at sea for a long time, or a young man's idea of how a girl would act, which is technically what it was. It was, I think, Oda started when he was 17, if I remember correctly, and still learning how to write, learning how to, draw it, and learning how to make stories. Not saying like the Romance Down arc is horrible, but it's like one of the aspects that I don't enjoy is just the weird the characterization of certain aspects of Nami I don't like. But still played off to a degree where the Arlong arc still works in the anime and works wonders in the live action. Now, it does have its issues. The pacing's not great. I don't know how to just say it. The Fishman arc, or the Fishman prosthetics, was weird as crap. I kind of like Arlong, kind of don't. I'm not sure how I feel about it. A lot of people don't know how to feel about that prosthetic horn. It's weird. It's a weird thing, and I'm glad they wanted to not use CGI and want to do practical effects like older movies used to do. But sometimes maybe some CGI is going to be good here and there. But the fact that they got this I'm going to say this, and especially as a white guy, this is going to be really weird to say, I do like the characterization of Arlong in this, because he has this rebellious attitude, and especially this more I'm going to get back at the world attitude, and his actor being, and I'm not saying all black men are like this, but being able to play a character that's not technically has a skin color, as a black man somewhat, really made me intrigued with him. He has this aspect of not only confidence and solidarity in what he's doing, he knows he's getting back at the world that has hurt him and his men. And so the caveat with that is hurting other people, of course. But I don't know what it is with this era about Arlong. I liked his characterization a lot more than I liked it in the anime. He just seemed like a blank slate. But in this one, it's like there's so much more to this Arlong than I thought. And I mean, I'm going to have to get to this moment at some point, so I'm going to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. When we get past the betrayal of Nami at Barate, which is, I still think, it kind of messes with the pacing a little bit. And it, of course, and I'll talk about that scene in a moment that I mentioned earlier. I will. But the moment of when Nami finds out the money is stolen by that Marine who looks like a cat, I forgot his name, and the fact that she runs away from her adoptive mother's grave, Delamere's grave, and having just the imagery of her running is such an amazing allegory for that character. Just because, let's be honest, she's been running most of her life from this, trying to deal with this grief of losing someone that was basically her mother. And then losing connection with her sister on top of that. It's probably hard. Just imagining having your parent ripped away from you and having to deal with that as a young little girl and basically making yourself a part of the pirates and that killed her mother is absolutely crazy. Even whether in the anime or live action, that's a crazy thing to do. But in a way, it's like she instilled I think Arlong almost instilled this attitude in her, probably as she was growing up, of wanting to get back at the world somewhat. And you don't really see that, but for me, it almost seems implied that she grew up to be this fake villainous figure so she can play, so she can get back at Arlong somewhat. And then still Arlong knowing like, okay, this kid's going to betray me at some point. I already know it. I'm looking for it. And that's why the Marine took it. And so as we get to that scene where she's running and she just starts breaking down and she starts running back to her home, running down the street, just falling to her knees and just begins to break down. I mean, thinking about this, it's hard not to get a little emotional about it because it is such a wonderful scene that she was able to convey through her acting, through her, I mean, I don't know if she was thinking of a moment in her life where she felt that way. I don't know what she did, but she conveyed it in such a way where it just felt real to me. A real heart to heart, a real broken moment. And seeing her, I mean, self-harm is a horrible thing. And seeing the stabbing scene from her, oh my gosh, it makes me uncomfortable to see it. They played it serious as they did in the anime, and it paid respects to that part of the story. And it made me not only enjoy that version of the live action, but it made me realize, okay, this girl's serious. I like her. I hope they keep doing more with her, with however long they're going to be able to do it with Emily Rudd, because she's a fantastic actress. And the interaction at the end, after she says, help me, and I'm trying not to well up with tears because it's despite all of that, and I'm gonna have to do a Luffy video at some point. I know I will. But with Luffy just sitting there, letting her break down, and then she finally asks for help. he puts the hat on her head, and just in both scenes from the animated to live action, it's such a beautiful scene of basically showing that, hey, this is my treasure. I want you to hold on to this because I value you just as much as I value that hat. Is amazing. Because what's interesting about the character of Luffy and the way he kind of, Iñaki displays it, he kind of sees past some of the fake mask that she wears. He sees someone that has potential to do better. And I'm not saying he's like this uber smart 4D chess character, but it's like there are some people in this world that are so simplistic, they can see past certain things. They can see past a mask. And that's what Luffy did in that movie. And Iñaki being that guy, just like curious and noticing these things. I really like that aspect of live action Luffy. And knowing that and still was there is amazing. One other thing I do like is the fact that she still kind of came in and fought, and she didn't really stand in the background or do anything. Now, mind you, I will say this much. I do like the fact that she was still kind of emotionally distraught, and she couldn't really, help that much because she was injured in her arm. But in this version, I do like the fact that she still fought wearing the hat, and Luffy was more than willing to go fight off Arlong, which is crazy. I will say, though, as much as I enjoy the live action, the live action fight wasn't as good as the anime fight. Everybody gets it. But I do like the fact that they kept the fight in the same room where she made all the maps in with the chain. Okay, the chain just, wow. That was a detail I didn't think they would have. But it's crazy that they did. At that little mapping desk, I'm like, oh my gosh, they actually went there. They basically say they used her to make that. They made her a slave, basically. And as you know, fishermen were also enslaved for a while in the story. Especially if you know about the Sun Pirates, that tiger shark gentleman. I don't know. Get mad at me, it's fine. Tell me the gentleman's name, the fishman's name in the comments. But I think, more importantly, what I like, and I've said it already kind of at the beginning of the film, or the beginning of the video, or near the middle maybe. Well, that was interesting. I'm going to say this much. I'm going to go to cut my car off because I gotta go in and go quickly, go work out. I do not know why that gentleman ran his car out like that. Anyway, you not only see a real person, you see someone that's actually in pain throughout the entire thing. And learning to have friends again at a young age. I believe she's 19 in the story. Nami's 19 in the story. And it makes a whole lot of sense. When you're not actively trying to become, connected with people, you're not going to know certain things about life. Especially now that I'm able to do this, is to kind of make it a little funny, is the connection between the and this makes Taz even a greater version of Sanji, is that when he flirts with her, she's like, huh? What? Why are you talking to me like this? I'm not that much invested in you. Why are you invested in me? And at the end, everybody's just like, I love this teenager teasing dynamic that they have at the end where it's like, ma'am. I'm like, oh crap. Oh my gosh, these guys are hilarious. And the I hate you guys at the end of the scene is so funny. I really enjoy it. these people make these characters real to me. And where it started was Emily Rudd. Emily Rudd made Nami real for me. Not to the point where I'm like, you know, super fan and want to stalk her all the time. No. Good Lord. That's had enough of that. Seen that with a bunch of Twitch gals, and that's horrible. I feel bad for them to a degree, because mind you, they are famous people. They have a lot of their information out there now, and that's kind of on them. But I want to say this much. The reason why I say that is, like, these are real people. These people are making these characters feel real. They're playing these characters to a point where, like, you can't even tell that they're manga characters. They're like, wow. The human element put into the show is amazing, and I look forward to seeing more of that. More human-esque interactions, more personalities being brought out, more of their version of the character that they want to bring to the show is going to be great. And I look forward to seeing more and more as we go along. With that being said, I'm going to go on and get out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I'm going to do the usual YouTuber thing at the end where, you know, like, comment, subscribe, make sure to ring the bell. You get the idea. I'm out. Peace.